Welcome. You're listening to The Aligned Self, Conversations in Creating a Conscious and Abundant Life. This is Daniel Denovi. I'll be your guide and host. Let's see just where we can take this. Hello, friend. Thanks for stopping by, lending me your listening ear and your rapt attention. It is so appreciated. I just can't tell you enough. And I do want to recognize that there's a lot of new listeners that have been downloading the podcast, and I appreciate you. If you haven't yet subscribed to the podcast, please do so you get each episode dropped into your podcast app when it's dropped. Because coming next week is a whole series on manifesting 101, so to speak. I did post something, a short video, in the podcast listeners Facebook group where I'm taking suggestions, ideas, comments, anything that you want to know about manifesting. Or you could also share your irritations and your conflicts that you have with the whole concept of manifesting and law of attraction. And I'll make my best attempt to address all those in the series. Now, how many episodes? I don't know. It could be 3, could be 4, might be even 5. Because like I said, I'm looking for your questions. I want to, I have a particular perspective on it. And I realized, I guess the last episode, that I have a particular viewpoint on manifesting. And there's a certain assumption on my part that you know or have a familiarity with it. And I don't know where you've been listening or made first contact with manifesting or law of attraction, or maybe this is your first introduction. I don't know. So I thought I'd start from the beginning, and it'd be something that I could always refer people back to. Because one of the foundational tenets that I have for myself is that we're all in the process of creating our reality. Through our perceptions, our intentions, our energy, we create and manifest our reality. And so part of my intention is in doing this series is to remove manifesting or law of attraction outside the realm of magical thinking and actually talk about some of the physical, practical aspects of it, as well as the quantum physics aspects. And I'll talk about different techniques to use, how to master your vibration. In fact, I've been invited to speak on a panel in Grapevine, Texas at the Wellness Festival, Wellness Expo. And that's on July 24th, and I guess it's July 23rd and 24th, but I'm going to be speaking on the 24th on a panel of about 5 or 6 people on vibration, raising your vibration. My friend Anna Noyce runs the Light Language University, and she has a series of speakers that are speaking all weekend long, and I'm one of the featured on the panel on that particular topic. I'll give you more information down the road. For those of you that are actually in the area, it would be nice to talk to you. Something that happened for me, actually after the last 5-Minute Friday episode that I did on your motivation. Is it coming from, sourcing from a lack or a deficit, a perceived deficit, or is it in the idea of expansion and growth and self-actualization? Well, the more I thought about it, Saturday I actually got a download that I wanted to upgrade my coaching program, The Aligned Self, because frankly, I've had to turn a couple people down from being in the program because they just weren't a good fit. Now, it's interesting, you turn down money, turn down clients, but if it's not a good fit, it's not a good fit. It's not good for you, it's not good for me. But as far as the coaching program goes, I'm redesigning aspects of it to up-level the entire experience and just take it to a whole new level. And it's possible, just possible, I might tweak the name or change the name just a little bit. But those of you that have already registered, don't worry about it. You're going to get even more value. It's always nice to receive more value than you expected, isn't it? I always think so. But one reason I wanted to bring that up is, sometimes when I do these podcasts, it's stream of consciousness. And what comes through isn't necessarily just for you. It's for me as well. And frankly, I think that's one of the most amazing aspects of being a coach, being a change agent, being in that realm of transformation. Since I'm always in the process of growing and, realizing my full potential, that when I get to address certain topics, sometimes I revisit it in a new way. I say something in a new way, and it resonates completely differently for me than it ever has before. And so, if you're getting value out of the podcast, you're not the only one. Even though it's flowing through my mouth, sometimes the message is for me. Actually, that brings something else to mind. Not too long ago, I was on a phone call with someone. They had bought the customized, personalized hypnotic audio, and they felt like their wants, their needs, their intentions were not as noble as some of the clients that I work with. And I want to assure all of you, it's nonsense. Whatever your perspective is, whatever you're working on in your life, whatever your concern is, wherever you see your area of growth, it is valuable, and each and every one of you is on the cutting edge of your own discoveries. No intention, no person is better than any other. And I've assisted people in ways where they can never, ever begin to repay me. That's not what I'm in it for. I'm in it to assist you. I'm in it to assist as many people as I can, that each and every one of you get to your bones, like in your body, in your bones, to your bones, that you create your reality, that you have agency, that you can choose your life, that you can choose the results that show up. And my job is to assist you and empower you. My belief is that if you get your life, if you get the desire, if you have the satisfaction and joy in your life, you're going to treat others around you phenomenally. And so whatever effort I do, I get the ripple effect. I think of it in the context of the fable of Johnny Appleseed. I plant seeds of possibility. Just like Johnny Appleseed roamed the country supposedly with a bag full of apple seeds, planting apple trees here and there. You see, only God, the divine, can count the number of apples in a single apple seed. And so I see my job, my task, is to plant seeds of possibility, knowing that I have no idea, really, consciously, the fruit that it is going to yield. My goal is to impact the world, impact you, one person at a time, because we're at a time of precedence here where consciousness is evolving, a whole new aspect of consciousness. And I see your role as developing yourself, developing your conscious awareness, developing your intuition, connecting with those inner signals, the messages, the inner wisdom that's within you. Everyone has access to it. And by connecting to that intuition, the inner wisdom, you have a built-in BS detector. I don't know if have been listening to the messages out in the marketplace and how they're fear-based, and someone has asked me to do a podcast on dealing with the fear that's being propagated out there by the news and by society and by, sometimes your peers. And that episode's coming very soon. But, give you agency or give you an impetus to develop your intuition, to hone in on your intuitive guidance, to open up and to receive it. And sometimes it's as simple as just saying, I want to be open to intuitive guidance, showing up open to it, and get curious about how it might show up, how the signs might show up in your life, what kind of guidance can you receive, and then start paying attention. Pay attention to the synchronicities, pay attention to what's showing up in your life, what's being presented to you. It could be, the end of a rabbit trail that you follow down Google or on YouTube, or someone mentions something and you realize that's the third time someone's mentioned that topic and you weren't even curious about it before, but suddenly it's like, what is that about? And you investigate it and it leads you somewhere. That's what happened to me around NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. Back in 1987, I began hearing about NLP and I started investigating it. I ordered a couple books on it. And I thought I was just going to read a book or two. And then back in, January of 1988, when I declared the revolution for my life, and I was open up to anything that would shift, anything that would change my life in a new direction. Well, in declaring that revolution, I ended up registering for a class, a certification program in NLP. And that was at a time when they did residential trainings where I was there 21 days straight. And frankly, I wouldn't have wanted done it. I wouldn't have wanted to do it any other way than the way I did it, because it was such a profound transformation on my life. And I just want to reiterate that the only reason I took the training, I was introduced through a magazine article, and then that led to another article. And, this is when the internet's relatively, no, wait a minute. The internet wasn't even in place then, not in 1988. I found out about it through Psychology Today. And then I ordered a book that was available in the back of the magazine through a classified ad. And then when I was ready for the training, I signed up for a multi-$1,000 training from a little classified ad, a little 1/2 inch by 1 inch classified ad in the back of Psychology Today. And it was one of 3 classified ads offering training. The one I picked is the one that resonated with me the most. And of the people that I met through that training, it opened a whole new set of possibilities. It introduced me to the Indian guru indirectly that I talked about in my spiritual birthday back right around the 1st of September of last year, 2021. I can't remember the episode date number. And of course, I'll probably have to put it in the show notes. But if you haven't got it yet out of listening to the podcast, or maybe you're new and this is your first episode, I live my life on intuitive guidance. And frankly, that's the hard aspect of me doing this podcast sometimes, is because the topics seem to come up intuitively. I just get the idea and I need to talk on this, and it's hard to do too far in advance. Because I have to tell you, I have a list of 200 topics to talk about. We're only getting started, because I keep adding to the list again and again. And we've done, I think we're almost at 140 episodes right now, and I easily have another 200 waiting in the wings. And then new topics come up all the time, just through meditation and vicariously through signs and symbols and questions that you have. So like today's episode, I'm going to talk about intuition and broadcasting your thoughts, and I have a little personal anecdote. A couple days ago, I was meditating in my office. It was a particularly deep meditation, and I had vaguely heard my wife calling my name, and she realized that I must have been busy, so she stopped calling my name, and I woke up out of this meditation, hungry, starving for pizza. Now, I am not a pizza consumer anymore, not like I used to be, not when I was younger. Like in my 30s and even in my 40s, I ate a lot of pizza. I loved pizza. I love pizza now, but I just don't eat it as often because my diet's different. But I woke up out of this meditation wanting a pizza, needing a pizza. Well, that's what my wife was going to ask me about. She had gotten the idea that, she didn't want to cook. It was just us at home at that time. And why don't we just order a pizza? And I got the message. Now, my wife and I, we share a lot of thoughts. We're together a lot. And so we do read each other's thoughts, and she broadcasts things to me and I broadcast things to her. And we both receive. Oftentimes we begin messages or sentences almost saying the same thing. And then it's always a little joke on who's the one sending, who's the one receiving. Because we're reading each other's thoughts, like who thought of it first, which came first, the chicken or the egg kind of thing. And, it doesn't really matter. But my point for bringing that story up is that sometimes the seemingly insignificant things are coming to you via intuitive guidance, coming to you through telepathic information. Your loved ones are communicating with you. You are a receiver. Your brain is a transducer that steps down spiritual energy, divine communication from the superconsciousness, the universal intelligence. And it's stepping it down, and you're perceiving it. You're perceiving it in your body. You're perceiving it in your mind. And this is happening even more so when you're in meditation. That's why I suggest you learn to meditate. And you don't have to meditate for hours on end. I was in a particularly deep meditation that went on for about 45 minutes on that day. But just 10, 15 minutes a day, if you do it every day, you have tremendous benefits, and you open your mind up to receive intuitive guidance. Now, I've been meditating since I was, formally since I was 28. I was investigating trance and altered states since I was 13 when I began with, hypnosis, which I've talked about before in the past. But formal meditation began when I had a formal meditation practice that started when I was 28, and I've done it virtually every day since. And if I ever go without meditating, I notice it. I carry more stress, things are more difficult, I actually get in my own way. I conjure up what I call negative manifestations. Those are the things we don't necessarily want because we're focusing on the wrong things. And that happened to me the end of last November. I got caught up in not doing the things that I knew I was supposed to do. I wasn't grounding. I wasn't meditating as regularly. And it's got in my way. And so I talked about that, about negative manifesting at the first of the year. And I will cover that negative manifestation aspect in the series coming up. But in this episode, I really want to tell you that you need to be careful of your thoughts, the thoughts that you're projecting out. I can remember when I was in my early 30s, and I had a guy at work that was irritating me big time. He's just getting trying to mess with me. And I began focusing some negative, not so nice thoughts to him, towards him. More so from anger. I was just angry. I would just stew over this one thing again and again. And it was one of those things, if I was a different person, I would have probably wanted to kick his ass. But I didn't. I just stewed about it. But it was after about a week of doing this where I was getting to the point where I thought, I need just to drop this and shift my attention because this is harming me. This anger that I'm stewing, it's damaging me. Damaging me in a way where it is affecting my energy, affecting how I was feeling. It wasn't feeling good. I wasn't feeling good. But this guy that I was directing my anger to at the time, I didn't really work with him all the time. We would cross paths every now and then. And after about a week, we crossed paths. And I looked at him and I said, hey, you don't look so hot. He said, I don't know what's going on. It's for a week now, I just feel like crap. I got something wrong with my throat. I can hardly breathe sometimes. I've even had a tightness in my chest, some heart palpitations. I know it's not that, nothing serious, but it just is scaring me a little bit. Well, it was in that moment that I realized that it was probably the thoughts that I was directing at him. And I said something to the effect, well, I think things are going to change from now on. I think things are going to get better for you. And he responded, I sure hope so, because this is crap. And so I realized that I needed to call my energy back. I disconnected from him. I called all the energy back, all the negativity, and I wiped it away. Now, I did do a podcast on recalling your energy, where you can do that when you've made connections with other people and they're draining your energy vicariously without your knowledge. But I'll put that in the show notes. But, I took responsibility for my thoughts. I took responsibility for the energy that I was bringing to this interchange. And I realized, I know that we're all one. We're all interconnected. Quantum physics, we talk about entanglement. And I was literally casting a spell, so to speak. I was directing energy. I was directing anger towards this person. Now, think about it in other people in your... let me put an ending to that story. Well, I started sending him love and light, and I recognize that each and every person on the planet is on the cutting edge of their own discoveries, and he probably did not do me dirty intentionally. He was looking out for himself, and I just happened to be in the way. And so I dropped it. I accepted it for what it was, and I rose above it. I accepted my anger for it. I acknowledged my anger, and I chose to let it go. Never push any of your emotions aside. I've addressed this in past episodes, and I'll address it again. You always want to acknowledge negative emotions, where they're sourced from, why they're there, and then you can choose to let it go. But with this guy, I sent him love and light and compassion. When I say compassion, I recognize that he is a human being, just like me. So I acknowledged his humanity. I acknowledged his own frustration with getting through life and getting things and working things out and not necessarily knowing the most appropriate thing to do and just being guided by whatever serves you. We all do that as human beings. So I acknowledged the humanity in him. I acknowledged our commonality. And then 3 days later, I checked in with him. I said, "How are you feeling?" He said, I feel fantastic. You were totally right. Like everything changed almost immediately. Now, we are always cordial after that. We were never best of friends, but it was never, ever the same. And I have never, ever held anger like that since. I realize that it doesn't do me any good, and it does not assist my fellow man. So I'm responsible for my energy. Now think about the other people in your life, your loved ones. Are you angry towards them? Are you directing angry thoughts to them? People pick that up, whether you know it or not. It affects them. It affects their well-being. It affects their energy. And so I'm just asking you to be responsible for your energy. Now, if you feel like crap for no good reason, go back and, again, I'll list it in the show notes, the episode where I talk about recalling your energy. And I tell you, when you do it, you're going to have people that you haven't talked to for a while contact you out of the blue. When I did it, I think back in December, but when I did it, there was right away 3 people contacted me via messaging. How you doing? What's going on? I didn't realize that they were sucking my energy, tapped into my energy, feeding off my energy. And then since then, it's been a dozen people or more. And then just through dreams, I was interacting with different people and completing on past relationships, past friendships in the dream state. So this act of completing, this act of recalling your energy and being aware of the energy that you're sending out is very, very powerful. I mean, if my wife can send me a message to go pick up a pizza telepathically, just imagine what you're communicating to other people. Are you communicating love? Are you communicating less than amazing emotions? This is why, if you're in a relationship and maybe things haven't been going too hunky-dory for you, just thinking in your mind of all the things that you love and appreciate, even write them down, takes it to a whole new level. All the things that you love and appreciate. Maybe you're thinking that it's not that much right now because, whatever's going on, but you can find those things that you love and appreciate. What drew you to them in the first place? What do you love about them as a person? And acknowledge those. Minimize whatever is bothering you, and you're going to see a transformation in the relationship. They'll have nothing to do with it. It's just the energy that you're putting out and what you're open to receiving. Now, one of the things that brought this to my attention, multiple little breadcrumbs here. One of my friends is Lisa Hawkins, is a relationship coach, and she had posted this question about cheating or hiding cheating, or are there times when cheating is okay? And my point of view is no, but more so from an energetic point of view, if you have an agreement with somebody, even though you might compartmentalize it, even though you think you're hiding something from your partner, energetically, you hide nothing. They know. And even if they don't know, like verbatim, they know something's off. They know it fuels intense arguments. I've been in relationships in the past when there was infidelity, not on my part, not at that time, not that it's never happened, but in that particular episode or that particular relationship, I was not the one straying, I guess. But I picked it up, and there was a certain amount of insanity in the arguments. There was an anger that was there, and the betrayal was felt, but it couldn't be put into words. And I have to tell you, when I finally found out, you know what my response was? Did I get angry? No. I was like, oh, I was so relieved, because this insanity that I was feeling, I now understood it. I said, that makes perfect sense. I totally get it. Thanks for telling me. And what that actually did is it reinforced all my intuitive guidance. Everything that I felt was going on, but I was made to believe that I was, crazy. I was told that I was overreacting. And once the truth came out, I totally owned my intuition from that point forward. And I vowed to never, ever second guess it again. And so this is how the universe always has your back. Everything's always working out for you. On one hand, there was infidelity. I was being cheated on. But the thing is, what a valuable lesson. What a way to crystallize my intuitive guidance, to really be able to hone in and know what's going on and trust it from that point forward, because I wasn't trusting it and I was being led astray. I was living in illusion. You see, I seek now, and I have sought ever since, to be disillusioned. I would rather bear the sting of an immediate truth than carry the burden of a lie, of living in that stagnant energy of deceit. But in that relationship, my current question, the question that I was putting out to the universe, is how do I hone in more sharply on my intuition? And so when you ask, oh my, the universe will deliver. And so with that said, that relationship, the less than integrous relationship where there was cheating going on, I manifested that. I created that. I created the opening for that to show up. I get that. I totally own it. And I don't feel bad about it. Now, things have kind of disintegrated to the point where when they ended, it was like more of a relief. But I didn't feel bad, the fact that she was cheating on me, because I realized, based on my years as coaching too, that people don't cheat because the other person isn't enough. That's the excuse they give a lot of times. But it's more so because of a sense of insecurity in the person cheating. They need to get that validation externally. They want someone else to say that they are loved or they're appreciated. They want to know that they have sex appeal, whatever it is. I mean, there's lots of different reasons for why people stray, or break an agreement. But when they do so, it's for personal reasons. It has nothing to do with the partner. It may have something to do because, you manifest that aspect of it. But don't feel bad. Own it that you had you had a stake in it. You attracted it to reinforce, your own growth. So how can you use this information in your own life? If someone's giving you a negative vibe, go the other way. Trust it. Trust that you're receiving the energy exactly the way it's being delivered. But also know that the energy that they're putting out may have nothing to do with you. It's not necessarily directed towards you. You just happen to be in the receiving realm of whatever they're sending out. And so it's just maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe they're constrained, they're conflicted in their own life, and you're picking up on it. Or they're incongruent in their message. If an event comes up and you're being invited and you don't really want to go, when you think about it, it doesn't feel like a 100% yes. It doesn't feel like you really want to go. You have trepidation. You need to check in a little bit to see why that's there. If you're not really sure, if you just don't feel like going, then don't go. If you have a habit of not engaging on a regular basis in external events, meeting other people, then it might be part of your own uncomfortableness just being around people and not a particular event. And so, in the art of living dangerously, you might want to push that boundary a little bit and learn to feel comfortable, feeling a little uncomfortable, so you have that the opportunity for growth. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but my voice feels a little raspy, and I think it has something to do with the pollen or the effects of allergens in the air. Could even be pollution here in DFW. But with that said, I also want to draw, I don't know why I'm talking about it. The sound on the podcast seems a little off. And I don't know if I need some new headphones or I need to tweak some things in the recording levels. But if you've noticed it, I'm working on it. Before I go, though, I want to remind you that I did extend the opportunity to get involved in the personalized, customized hypnotic audios. After the 12th of June, I will pull that offer. Right now it's $100 off, but after the 12th of June, that offer will no longer be available for the foreseeable future, at least for the rest of 2022, because frankly, it just takes too much time for the return. I mean, it's not cheap, but it's not exorbitant, and I guarantee my results. But from my point of view, it just takes more time to create that customized audio for you. And I originally did it as a request back when I was co-host for the Subconscious Mind Mastery podcast. And it was so popular, I kept offering it like in the fall, in the spring, at the holiday season for a limited period of time. But now I need to put that aside. So once it's gone, it's going to be gone. And you can find out more about that at yesdaniel.com/hypno, or just follow the links from yesdaniel.com. But if that's a little bit out of your reach, you can access a hypnotic activation audio that I did on 2/22/22 on February 22nd, 2022. I took advantage of the energies of that date, and I did a channeled hypnotic meditation. That's available for $22.22. And something else that I just decided this weekend, complete downloads of things that I can offer to expand this conversation. So if you take advantage of the activation audio, the 2/22/22, I'm going to add on a series of hypnotic activation audios to enhance your intuition, to enhance your abundance, and those will be all added on at a later date. Once they're all completed, I'll probably offer them as a bundle for a bit more, something closer to $50. But, I'm sorry for rambling here. Some of this is just pouring off the top of my head, and it feels like I want to get it out, and I don't necessarily want to edit it out and make it sound contrived. It's just flowing off the top of my head. So if you get involved with the activation audio, there's going to be another series of audios that you'll be able to access at no additional charge. And if you're already a member of the Vault, don't take advantage of that, because you're going to get all these audios anyways. Which, incidentally, if you want to learn about my membership program, go to yesdaniel.com and click on the membership link. And then again, if you're interested, I'm sorry, this is just going on and on. If you're interested in the aligned, I just mentioned several things up front, and I didn't really realize I was going to mention all, so I just want to put a punctuation mark on it and complete it. If you've been interested in the aligned self, and you're interested in the upgrades that are going to come and how it's going to expand into something even more amazing, worth at least 10 times the value of what's currently being asked for, you can contact me personally and just say, hey, I want to learn more about what you're adding to the aligned self. But I should have that complete by the end of the week. That's it. That's all I have to say today. Again, follow your intuition. Follow your intuition. Listen to inner signals. This is how I end every podcast. This is your friend and host, Daniel Denovi, urging you to follow your bliss. Live your life from inner signals. Be inner directed. Allow your wisdom to flow from within as you engage in the epic adventure. Because this is an epic adventure. It's a spiritual adventure. Manifesting, creating the life you want is a spiritual adventure. It's what you're here to do. Not to be something, not to do something, some job. You're here to create the life you want. To be the person you want to be. That is the epic adventure.